Hey, it's Minimalist Gourmet, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the softest, fluffiest, chewiest, most delicious gluten-free cinnamon rolls you've ever had. The taste and texture are so amazing, you wouldn't know they're gluten-free unless someone told you. It took me a lot of time to get this recipe right, and I'm happy to share it with you, so let's get crack-a-lackin'. To start, we need to bloom our yeast or basically wake it up. So here I've got some warm water, about 110 degrees, and I'm going to add in my sugar, something for the yeast to eat. And of course, we're going to add in our active dry yeast. Your water should be pleasantly warm to the touch, but not so hot that it's steaming. That will kill your yeast. Go ahead and give this a nice thorough mix, and then we're going to let it sit aside for about 10 minutes while we make up everything else and let it bloom. Now, you certainly can use another gluten-free flour blend if you'd like, but I highly recommend that you use this one. It's cheap, easy, and works great. It starts out with 2 cups of white rice flour, followed by 1 cup of brown rice flour, and then for that real chewy factor, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of xanthan gum plus 2 teaspoons. And that's it. That's your entire gluten-free flour blend done. Just 3 simple ingredients. For the rest of the dry ingredients, we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda for our leavening, followed by 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt because that makes everything taste just a little better. And in case you didn't know, I always include a written recipe in the description below, so definitely go down and check that out. And while you're down there, definitely give this a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it helps my day get a little brighter. Give all of your dry ingredients a good mix here before we add in our melted butter right on top. We're going to follow this up with all 4 of our eggs. Now we need to mix this. I'm going to be using the dough hooks on my electric beaters. If you have a stand mixer with a dough hook, that would work great. And if not, you can certainly just use a nice heavy duty wooden spoon. That'll work just as well, but it'll take a little bit longer and a little bit more elbow grease. And right about now is when I remembered that I totally forgot to add in my yeast before I started mixing. No problem, we'll go ahead and add it in now. As you can see, the yeast is nice and frothy. It means that it's very much alive and doing exactly what it should be doing. Give it a good stir before you add it in. That way, if any of the yeast is settled to the bottom, it'll kind of get everything back into the mix. Just pour this right in, and we're going to go ahead and mix this very well until all of our ingredients are thoroughly incorporated. After mixing up the dough, you're going to notice that it looks a little bit shaggy. It's not very smooth looking as you can see here. Don't worry, the dough is going to be very sticky. That's normal at this stage. But we do want to make this into a very nice, smooth dough. And we're going to do this by adding in a bit of water. This extra water is going to help our dough hydrate fully so that we get that nice, real fluffy, wonderful cinnamon roll texture. You may need a little, you may need a lot, depending on various factors, but chances are you'll probably end up using right around half a cup. I don't like to add too much water though, so I like to do this in 2 phases. I'm going to start off by just adding 1/4 of a cup of water, mixing it, and then seeing how it looks. After this first addition of water, once you start mixing the dough again, you're going to notice a big change. It's going to go from this rough kind of shaggy dough into something that looks a lot smoother. It's still nice and tacky, but it feels like it could absorb just a bit more water, so we're going to go ahead and add another 1/4 cup of water, mix it again, and take a look. I think this second addition will be all we want to put in here though. And as you can see here, the dough is looking great. It is nice and smooth, and it's looking like it's fully hydrated. When we touch our finger to it, we can see that it is extremely sticky and tacky and pretty moist. This is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to stop here. Before we roll out our dough, we're going to make our filling, which couldn't be simpler. It's a bit of brown sugar. I like to sift mine so it's nice and light, and we're going to add a bit of cinnamon to this. Mix this very well. I've covered my countertop in saran wrap. I've laid out 2 pieces here that overlap by about a half an inch in the middle. That's going to help us roll this dough. The other thing that's going to help us roll this dough is the generous use of additional flour. I like to use the white rice flour because it's very neutral in taste and it works very well in this recipe. Remember, this dough is very sticky and very well hydrated, so be very generous when laying out the extra flour. I've always wondered, if the gluten's free, why are these things so expensive to buy in the bakery? All right, we're going to turn our dough ball out right on top of our very well floured surface, and then we're going to use some more of our white rice flour to cover the top of this. Again, this dough is super duper sticky. And for even more insurance, we're going to go ahead and put a bit of flour on our hands so nothing sticks to them. Now, unlike a traditional brioche dough where you're going to roll this out with a rolling pin, you can actually just use your hands and press it out flat. In fact, I recommend it. I do think it's a lot easier to just press this out with your hands. If you have any areas that stick, like this one in the corner sticking for me, just go ahead and add a little bit more of the rice flour. I like to start in the center and work my way toward the edges, and then try to make a nice large rectangle with somewhat square edges. I like to shoot for somewhere around 1/4 to maybe 3/8 of an inch thick at max. All right, with our dough rolled out, we need to put our butter down so our cinnamon and sugar mixture has something to stick to. I don't like to melt this. I like to just let it sit at room temperature while I'm working. I think it works a lot easier. Just use the back of a big spoon to spread it out evenly over the entire surface. Now we need to go ahead and spread our brown sugar and cinnamon mixture evenly over the entire surface as well. Being a digital nomad with a gluten intolerance kind of sucks sometimes because we travel to all these really cool places and there's all these really yummy foods I'd love to try, but they're just not available gluten free. On the other hand, I've also had the wonderful opportunity to learn how to make a version of these dishes at home that will suit my dietary needs. This has opened up an entire world of different foods that I couldn't have otherwise enjoyed. Once you have your filling spread out, it's time to roll these bad boys up, and this is where that saran wrap comes into play. As you pull the saran wrap up to get started, you may need to roll this first edge under just a little bit to give it a helping hand. Now, all you have to do is just gently and evenly pull up on the saran wrap, and your cinnamon rolls, well, they'll become a cinnamon roll. If you try to do this by hand, it's not going to work super well. The dough is kind of fragile and it's super sticky still, so it's not the easiest thing to do. I highly recommend you do it using this method. The saran wrap really is a lifesaver in this recipe. Finally, we need to form this cinnamon roll into a nice even thickness. So take your hands and push them on the end here to push them in slightly, and you can run your hands along the cinnamon roll to make sure that the thickness is even all the way throughout. This will help make sure everything rises and bakes evenly. I've got my baking dish lined with parchment paper so nothing sticks, and we're going to cut these up into portions. Here's a little tip. Get yourself a little bit more of that rice flour and coat your knife in it before you cut. By having a nice little layer of that flour on the knife, it's going to prevent it from sticking as you cut. When you cut, cut straight down, and then I like to put my fingers on each side of the dough as I pull it out so it doesn't rip out. Then when you go to make the next cut, again, coat it with the flour. Cut your log into 8 portions and place them into your baking dish. You're going to cover this with a little bit of plastic wrap and allow it to rise for about 1 to 2 hours, or until doubled in size. Watch out, this dough will rise when you yeast expect it. While it's rising, that'll give us more than enough time to make up our cream cheese frosting. Is it just me or is cream cheese frosting like one of the top 3 most delicious foods in the world? Make sure your butter and cream cheese are at room temperature because otherwise this is super hard to make. We're going to add in our vanilla, followed by a good pinch of salt so that everything tastes a lot more like itself, and end with our powdered sugar. They are gluten free, so that means they're a health food, right? With all of our ingredients in the bowl, we're going to whip it together here until nice and fluffy. We're going to scrape down the bowl to make sure there's nothing hiding on the bottom. Give it one last little mix here, and you're good to go. After you've been married as long as I have, you know that these beaters are going straight to the wife. Give them an extra dunk before they go as well. Our cinnamon rolls have doubled in size and looking perfect, so these are going to go straight into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. After baking for about 25 minutes, my cinnamon rolls look like this. A good way to check that they're done is just by touching the center of the ring, especially in the middle here. You want to make sure that they're not sticky or doughy anymore. They should be nice and set. This looks pretty darn good, so we're going to go ahead and let these cool down to room temperature for about 20 minutes before frosting. After cooling down for about 20 minutes, these are still nice and warm, but not so hot that the frosting will melt right off of them. The quantities that I gave you in the recipe down below are going to allow you a very generous dose of frosting for each cinnamon roll, so don't be stingy. As I cut into this, notice how nice and soft and fluffy this cinnamon roll is. You couldn't ask for anything more from a cinnamon roll, let alone one that is gluten free. Before we even taste these, they smell fantastic. You have that beautiful cinnamon flavor combined with that nice, subtly sweet brown sugar. You have that nice, soft brioche buttery dough, and you've got that fantastically rich cream cheese frosting on top. My God, these couldn't taste any better if you tried. The best part, though, the texture. If you've had other gluten free cinnamon rolls, you know they can kind of be dry and chalky and just not really have that good texture that you're looking for. Not with this recipe. These are absolutely the most chewy, fluffy, delicious gluten free cinnamon rolls you've ever tried. Just take a look at how well these pull apart. These are so amazing, you wouldn't even know they're gluten free unless I told you. This honestly is the only recipe you're ever going to need. I know you're going to love these. You know what else you're going to love? My gluten-free strawberry shortcake recipe, which is right here, so definitely check that out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all on the next episode.